What is up, everybody? Dan the Fireman here. We're going to be going over some crashes and close calls from MotoStars today, and we're going to be figuring out what happened, how it happened, and then hopefully prevent a lot of it for ourselves utilizing the plan method. Position for safety, locate these hazardous situations and patterns. We're going to assess if they're relevant threats, and we're going to have to navigate ourselves out of these by good progressive emergency braking, swerving, or even acceleration. Let's figure out what happened, maybe use some rescue skills to help somebody else that crashed. So let's see. So we're lane splitting. Well, filter splitting. Oh, geez. There's the impact. There's the crash. Hopefully nothing super bad when it comes to the rider. His leg could be trapped. No, it's not. That's good. So when we talk about the plan method here and locating hazardous situations, that's important. And so we're going to go ahead and talk about that one real quick. So we're going to come up to here. So we're lane. There we go. Lane splitting. We're not doing too crazy of a speed here. Not too crazy of a speed. Not that big of a deal. Let me go ahead and hit that record button right there. And then not that big of a deal. 33 miles an hour. We're trying to get through traffic. This looks like California. Not a big deal. So when it comes to locating hazard situations, when we are lane splitting, it is a hazard situation because it does take away our swerves to the left and to the right. So those are our escape paths typically when we're riding in our own lane. So we have to either emergency accelerate to get out of a situation and then maybe swerve if we have open spaces, or do some really good progressive braking. So get in that front brake and squeeze, harder and harder and harder and harder. So we're coming up to here. The goal is to find out what is happening though. We got to find out if these are relevant threats. So whenever I'm lane filtering or lane splitting in California where it's legal, I'm always looking for these big open spots. Okay, these big open spots right here. Now, these are things that I call opportunities for other vehicles to go into, right? I mean, it's pretty standard road behavior, right? A car will go into an open spot. They're not going to hit another car, hopefully. They will sideswipe a car, but they're not looking for us. They're not looking for us as motorcyclists. We talk about intentional blindness all the time. They're looking for other cars because that's what's on the road. That's what they're scared of, right? XXC R9, welcome to the crew. So I'm always aware of those things. So there's a gap right there coming up. Okay. We have a blinker. We have to be hyper aware on a motorcycle. We have a gap right here. That is where they're going. So we should be paying attention to that. And if we're lane filtering, it's our responsibility for our own safety. So we have to be paying attention. We have to pay attention to these certain things. It's really difficult to be riding and pay attention to everything. So this is why I talk about pointing out these specific things. I talk about patterns because I want to look for patterns, pattern recognition. That's what humans are really good at. So I'm making sure if I see a change in this blinker, that's what they're going to do. Sometimes people don't use it. So that's why I always look for these big open gaps. And I'm always slowing it down. I'm covering the brakes. Looks like he's covering the brakes. That's pretty good. But we have to be quick on our perception and reaction and stopping distance. That's part of our total stopping distance. And now sometimes we just have to slow it down enough to let them in. Sometimes we have to stop. Sometimes we have to swerve. We could swerve left right here. Sometimes we have to accelerate out of it. These are all things that you have to make those decisions in those moments. But I'm pointing them out to you right now so you can think about it. Okay? So think about it. So we get up to here. There's the brakes and there's a little bit of a swerve. Not good enough. We have to swerve. Now it's like, well, if he swerved a little bit hard, he's going to crash in the back of that white car. Well, guys, think a little bit bigger. Think a little bit bigger. Maybe swerve in between these. You're already lane filtering. We know we could do it. You got to try. You got to go for it. Think of it. Think bigger, guys. Think bigger. That's all. Now, yeah, crap happens. Sometimes it happens. Thankfully, as smart riders, right, we wear full gear just in case it does happen. This unfortunate incident. But what can we learn from it? That's what we can learn from it. And, yeah, terrible. It's terrible stuff. So we're going to move on to the next one once it pops up.
Be very careful, man.
I like his mentality, though.
Careful. Pull over there. Pull over.
Yeah, let's get some insurance, exchange information, whatnot. We're going to go over other incidents. Maybe we're going to have, open lane pattern. Maybe we're going to have an intersection incident. Maybe we're going to have something else so we can learn from that too. We start to see a lot of these common driver behaviors.
Not safe. Okay, off the road.
There we go. Cornering's a big one. Let's see what happens here. That's a sharp left turn. You could tell by that sign right there. So let's go. Sad day for me over here, but all is good. All right. This looks like California mountains. So that's what you call a low side. So we lost traction on those tires. Leaning the bike a little bit hard, speeding up pretty fast, having fun in the mountains. Okay, cool. Do your thing. If you don't want to crash, do a little bit of slow look press and roll. Or learn how to trail brake. Maintain that traction. If you want to practice your speed and you want to go super fast and see how well you can do things, I'm glad he's got full gear. If you want to do all of this, go to a track, and I get it. Tracks are expensive, but so is the hospital. There you go. So he's walking. That's good. So we also talk about rescuing, right? Remain calm, ensure your own safety, stop major bleeds. If you're by yourself, you got to do it all for yourself. But if your buddy crashes, you can help him out. All right, what do we got here? I rode my bike under a truck. Not good. You don't want to do that. Is this one of those gee whiz have fun things? Okay. Well, just because you can doesn't mean you should, but it worked out for him. Not a big deal. I wouldn't do it. All right, so 154, it's probably kilometers an hour. So we're probably going a little bit above highway speeds.
Surface caught this bike off guard after a long struggle to regain control of the
Oh, road surface hazards?
in a rather spectacular way.
Oh, geez, slow-mo now. So speed is definitely a factor in this crash. He's got some crash guards on his bike, so engine crash guards, that's pretty good. So hopefully the bike is doing fine. Hopefully we didn't break a collarbone when we smash right into the right shoulder. That's not good. Hopefully he's doing fine. So let's take a look at what happened here. So we got some context beforehand.
After a long
So we're going pretty fast, but look at the road surface. Okay, so if we're going fast and we hit some road surface bumps, it could be gravel, it could be the road itself in terrible condition. It's gonna mess you up, especially when you're supposed to be doing a turn. So it's gonna mess you up no matter what speed you're going at. But if you're going at the appropriate speed or the speed that you're comfortable with, as in your skill level, not that you're like, I'm comfortable, I could do it. It's more of like, this is what I can do. This is what look at that. It's like what I can do because of my skill, okay? So slow it down just a little bit because you're going to hit these bumps and then you have too much of speed. This video is slowed down. You have too much speed.
In a rather spectacular way.
His phone is not even in his case anymore. Probably hit some bumps earlier. And now we're going to go off-road. So slow it down, slow press and roll. Look for these hazardous situations, right? It's a hazardous situation with all of this road surface hazards. They are relevant threats. So how do we navigate this active threat? Roll off the throttle, maybe apply some brakes before the turn so that we're not hitting these bumps at a high speed, which is going to mess us up big time, okay?
To regain control of the bike, he ends the ride in a rather
Same thing with gravel, same thing with snow, same thing with rain. Road surface hazards will mess you up. And then this is what could happen. And if you're riding with a group of friends, make sure you rescue. All right, so we got some cyclists going through. Don't know what he's saying. Don't know what he's saying. I don't speak German? Oh, angry. Hey, you don't touch other people, dude. You don't touch. There you go. You messed up, man. You messed up. You do whatever you need to do to defend your buddy. So how do we handle this? Okay, let's go and talk about plan here. We got to be in a good position for safety. We located this hazardous situation. Is he a relevant threat? Well, he started touching your friend. So how do you navigate this active threat? However you want. However you want to do that. You know, you can let your friend deal with it, or you can deal with it. However you want. Once you start touching somebody, that's a no-go.
Du brauchst keine Minderjährigen angehen.
Okay, let's move on.
Aber nicht schlagen. Nein.
All right, we're riding, doing a sharp right turn. Oh, we lost traction on that rear tire. Lost the traction. Just laying here, don't mind me. All right, so what happened? He's got motorcycle boots, very good. He's got a jacket, very nice. Regular jeans. It's not going to help out your knees or some abrasions, but we got a full face helmet. Very good. All right. So part of the Smart Rider drills, okay, right now, 30% off. It's going to end this weekend, January 6th. It's going to end. But you can practice your slow speed maneuvers all the way to expert mode. But there's some like hard ones. There's some easier ones. There's some pictures. Lefty loosey, righty tighty are one of my favorites. You're going to practice your friction zone throttle control. You're going to understand what your bike can do. So right here, we're doing a tight turn from a stop. It's a tight right turn from a stop. We start to turn. We're looking where we want to go. He accidentally either dumped the clutch, let it all out with a lot of throttle. So he's not doing friction zone throttle control very well. Or he doesn't have the clutch out and he just gunned it. And so that rear tire is going to spin because it didn't have traction. You have to start off a little slow to let it get some traction and then go, especially on that turn. So don't dump the clutch and let it and give it throttle. Friction zone, get that thing going. Like nice and easy, smooth transitions, a little bit slow. And then once you are on the road and you're facing where you want to go, you can start releasing the clutch a little bit more and giving it some gas and then start upshifting and everything. So just he let it out too quick. That's all. And what we don't see is that there could be a little oil. There could be a little bit of gravel. There could have been something on the road. So a road surface hazard can take away traction from that rear tire also. But more than likely, he gave it a little too much. All right, we're going a little fast here. Oh, let's take a look at his hand on that one, because I think that was a panic brake. Yep, look at that right hand on that front brake, panicking a little bit. He's got to swerve left to get away from that trailer. Smash the front brake. It's going to cause that front tire to lock up a little bit or start, yes, well, it's going to lock up, especially maybe with this bike. No ABS. And it's going to start sliding. And since he's already in a little bit of a turn, applying the brakes, and he starts sliding, the bike's going to want to fall down where your handlebars are turned. That's not good. You can slow down. So Horvath, brake plus swerve equals no. You don't want to slam the brake and then try to swerve. What you can do is slow down a little bit and then start releasing the brake and then swerve. So it is like kind of the same where you do and then do, not do and do. Don't do. Don't do. That's not good. Do is not good. That's when we start talking about, my live stream. That's when we start talking about brown stage. There we go. Start talking about brown stage. There we go. Like my live streaming stuff kind of got all screwed up. We still here? Okay. So a little bit of brown stage panic, did both at the same time. Do one or the other. You can kind of like, just like friction zone throttle control, you can kind of do a little bit of the same, but if you do friction zone and you give it a lot of throttle, you're not going to go very far. If you if you don't give any throttle and you give all clutch, you're not going to go anywhere. You have to do a little bit, and then if you want to go, you have to do one or the other. Same thing with swerving and braking. You can do a little bit at the same time, but if you really want a good swerve, you have to not apply the brakes. If you really want to have good braking, you cannot swerve at the same time. At that point, it's one or the other. So this one right here, panicked, slammed the brakes, and then tried to swerve, not good. This is what's going to happen here. So we lost traction. We lost basically our maneuverability on the bike, and then we dumped the bike. This is the whole I had to layer down
This
thing.
bike admitted that a significant amount of oil on the road was the main reason for his
Oil? Let's take a look at his hands. The moment he applies that front brake, so he's full on. The moment he applies that front brake, oil.
This biker admitted that a significant amount of oil on the road was the main reason for his fall.
Okay. Another thing about life, not just riding motorcycles, is taking personal accountability so you can learn from it.
At the very last second, this rider manages to take the right exit, but excessive speed and heavy braking that turn lead to an...
Okay, we have a sharp turn coming up. We have a stop sign right there. You saw that? So excessive speed going into a turn, we talked about that. Slow it down. And since we're with a group of friends, we're going to rescue each other so that other friends are going to remain calm, either going to call 911 or tell someone to call 911. Just get them going. You can always cancel them. You can always, when they get on scene, you be like, I'm not going to the hospital. You can always do that. Okay? Also ensure your own safety. So if you saw your buddy crash, go ahead and pull off to the side. Look for hazards like other cars or other crazy people on motorcycles. And then wear some PPE, some gloves, okay? Because if there's blood, you don't want to get blood all over yourself. Stop any major bleeds. So if you see any bleeding coming out of the guy, so like he lacerated his leg, not good, lacerated his arm, not good. This is why you wear gear. Hopefully prevent that, but sometimes it happens. If they're bleeding out, you can apply direct pressure. You can apply a tourniquet on the extremities, like the legs and arms. And if there's anything in like a puncture up here or like down here, you can actually start packing the wound. Packing the wound, that's something that you want to do and learn from Stop the Bleed, and also assess any major issues. So, if he's starting to get disoriented and wanting to vomit, he's starting to get like blindness, basically, not good. Vision impairment. If he's like, I have tingling in my feet, basically just at the end of the day, stop any external bleeding, lay them down, and monitor any changes. If you can keep them warm, that's great. A little space blanket, a little emergency blanket. Oh, side of the pedestrian. Very good. A little bit of a panic. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Well, we had to swerve last second. Did have an impact, but we didn't dump the bike, so that's good. You want to pull over and see if you can help that person out. Okay, good. She's doing fine. I love it. That was really close. What can we do in that situation, right? So line of sight issue. You couldn't see that person because of that vehicle. Why is the vehicle stopped in the middle of the road? Kind of gives you this weird feeling. So when we talk about MTC awareness stages, once you see that weird thing, that uncommon thing in a common situation, you go into orange stage. You're like, I don't know what's happening. You're covering those brakes. You're getting ready for something. You don't know. You saw that car ahead of time stop. Now you see a side of the pedestrian. So we talk about the plan method here. We located, assess, and now we have to navigate this active one, especially if they're going to come into our lane. Now they're in our lane. So what can we do in this situation? Last second, we have to be quick on this. Swerve out of the way as best you can. Swerve out of the way. You're not going to be able to stop in time. So we talk about side of the vehicles when the cars come out on an intersection. So this is a side of the pedestrian. Kind of like the same thing. You got to get yourself out of there. But thankfully, nothing bad happened. That's not a motorcycle jacket. So hopefully he does have gear underneath it. But if we did crash, we would have been in a lot of pain, a lot of trouble. I like how he handled it afterwards, though. Love that.
In active pursuit with two
Bunch of e-bikes. Little e-bike crew. Get yourself together and do some smart rider drills.
motorcycle cops.
Oh, there's a nice little impact. There's another impact. So a little mob ride. It's all chaos. You never know. Never know what's going to happen. Just wear some gear. Some people shouldn't be on the road. Okay. I have a feeling this is an open lane pattern. You guys think so too? Write it in the comments. I think it's an open lane pattern. I think this car is going a little too slow for this driver. And they see this big open lane because they're not looking for us, right? They're going to come over. And then we're going to get mad because they cut us off. I think it's an open lane pattern. Let's see what happens here. I could be wrong, but this is what it looks like. So whenever I'm in a situation like this is the visual. I make sure that I ride staggered with this car. Just like if I'm in a group ride with another motorcyclist, I'm going to ride staggered. So if they do switch over, I'm not going to get hit. I'm not going to hang out in their blind spot. None of that stuff. Zach Sharp, exactly, missed his exit. Hey, I was a little wrong, but I feel like that was going to happen. So at the end of the day, what's the fundamental principle here? Ride staggered with other vehicles, no matter what. If you're boxed in, you have very limited options. Ride staggered with other cars. Pretend other cars on the road are part of your group ride.
Here is yet another example.
Ooh, wear some gloves. Oh, we are all over the place. Oh no, high speed, high risk. There's the side of the vehicle. Got very lucky. Woo-wee. Don't do this, guys. Don't do this. Just kind of wait or do it slower. Do it slower. So when I talk about side of the pedestrian earlier, and I mentioned side of the vehicle, typically at intersections you see that side of the vehicle right there. And then look at the gap that you got. So good on him for finding that escape path. That was kind of impressive. He found the escape path, which is straight. Typically on a lane splitting thing, all you can do is accelerate out or decelerate with your brakes. McDonald's. All right, having some fun off-road. Now we're back on road. And we got some water, road surface hazard. Did we hydroplane a little bit? It looks like we did. We lost traction. We fell in the water. Hopefully we can pick up our bike. We got our GoPro doing pretty well. Honk the horn. And now we're going to hopefully get ourselves out of this situation. Bike shut itself off. Hopefully it's not getting flooded. And let's get up, please. Get the bike up. Get the bike up. Buddy back there hopefully can pull over, remain calm, and ensure his own safety and help him out. So we just lost some traction. So if you're going to go over something like that, maintain a good speed. Try to go straight as possible. Get some speed before you get into that situation. So like we got up to here, not there, but up to here, pick up speed and then pretty much coast through it as best you can. Just coast through it. Like pick up speed beforehand. Let the speed from before coast you through. Because sometimes if you give it some throttle and give it a little too much, that water will create a little hydroplane situation where you're just going to be skipping across the water like a really nice, smooth rock. I think my best record was 15. Anybody beat that? Anyways, his bike did that. It just skipped across the water. Can't really go around the water on that one because that's the only part of the road that he could do unless he turned back and figured out a different route. So, I mean, you could just go through it. It's just we lost traction. You got 8. Nice. Oh, there's the side of the vehicle right there. Let's take a look at it. Coming up here, we see the side of the vehicle. What's going to happen here? So when we talk about positioning for safety, this vehicle looks like he's turning right, so he's going to want to come this way. We got to move over for a new position for safety. We have to locate this hazard situation, assess if it's a relevant threat, navigate it by putting ourselves in a brand new position for safety right there. That's what we got to do. Let's see what happens here. Oh, he went for the gap that was opening. Very good. Very good. So you could do that. Like I did take up your space. You could position for safety off to the right, stop, or you could do that. It's up to you as long as you get out of it. So he went for the gap that was opening. So the gap that's closing, this person was supposed to make an easier turn, but didn't. This gap closed. Okay? He went for the gap that was opening. So there's 2 options that you can do. Very good. All right, having some fun off-road. Messing with his visor and slipping and sliding. That right there is why we have gear, because on the buttocks of motorcycle pants, it's reinforced. So when we're sliding, it might rip up that top layer, but it might not rip the bottom layer, which means it's not going to rip your butt. That would suck. Imagine getting a stick or a stone up in there. Ooh-wee. So probably messing with his visor, messing with his camera, whatever it was. Lost some traction. Didn't have 2 hands on the handlebars. Mistakes happen. Slip and sliding. He's doing fine. Hopefully the bike is fine and we can move on.
Was I filming that? I was. Yeah, that's what happens when you take your hands off the handlebars.
Good job with the after action review. Appreciate that. How do people even drive like that? Okay, let's find out. What are we doing? We missed our turn, so we're going to go ahead and get around. Not a big deal. We're going to get around them. Okay. Wait, one sec. Did that person cut him off?
The bars.
Confused. Good job with the slow speed, though. We're going to take what's good. Good job with the slow speed. Probably been practicing Smart Rider drills. 30% off. Use the link in the description. Automatically applied. Or use Holiday 2024. Sales ending. So we don't need to really kind of go through that. Oh, he was just adjusting the mirror. Okay. Good job with the slow speed. Don't have to really do that. Not a big deal. Didn't really bother you with that turn. All right, I think an open lane pattern or a vehicle is going to come out from the right side. So a vehicle on the left is going to switch into our lane, or a vehicle that's merging is going to cut us off. What do you guys think? Good job, new position. So we talk about it. It's very subtle. We're locating a hazardous situation. We're merging an intersection. Vehicles are kind of coming in. We have to assess any relevant threats. Right now, no relevant threats because nobody's in front of us. We're doing our thing. But once an active threat comes out like this, Oh, they start coming out. We're going to go ahead and honk the horn. That's our first reaction. My first reaction, which looks like he's doing it at the same time, is to put myself in a new position for safety. That person's coming out from the right. We're going to have to move ourselves off to the left. Okay? We might have to lane filter to get ourselves out of this dangerous situation. But we're not going super fast, so we could apply the brakes. We could move over. We could do a lot of things. When you have too much speed, it creates some problems for you. So having the appropriate amount of speed gives you more options. Because if he was going too fast, he wouldn't be able to slow down in time, and the swerve would have been a lot harder. But if he was going the right speed, things are much easier. Oh, road surface hazards, a little bit wet on the road. Be careful with your braking. You're going to have a longer total stopping distance. And also, it's going to take you a little bit longer to accelerate, because if you accelerate too fast, your rear tire can lose traction on some of the wet road. So we're going to switch lanes. We just did our own version of open lane pattern. There's the side of the vehicle. So our version of open lane pattern, we didn't like being behind this red vehicle, so we switched lanes. Didn't do a head check. Didn't do a head check. A lot of cars don't do that either. Do a head check, check your mirrors. We have a side of the vehicle popping up right here. Nighttime's also a hazard. You can't see much. But I see the headlights and I see the brake lights. That's a side of the vehicle. What's going to happen? Nice little swerve. Good job. Good job. That car was not anticipating you making that lane change. Didn't see you, so you had to swerve out of the way. Okay, handled it. Handled it. Oh, geez. Cutting that corner a little sharp. Cutting that corner a little sharp. Good job. Slowing down and stopping. Intersections are orange stage. Morning compute. Driver pulls out in front of motorcycle. Here we go. Side of the... Does he watch this channel? Side of the... Are we making a difference out there in the world? Interesting. I love that. All right, do we have a side of the vehicle? There it is. Good job, Kurt 1981. Good job. Side of the vehicle, applied the brakes, moved over. Francisco Caetano. Oh, road surface hazards. You got some good job slowing it down beforehand, maybe lifting your butt off the seat. But you see how hard that was to see with those lights? Nighttime brings up new hazards. This is why you don't go speeding. Also, and he's got his high beams on. You see that little blue light? That's his high beams. So you can adjust your headlights too. So if your headlights are too far down, it's only going to be pointing down. If it's too high up, it's not going to illuminate the roads. Sometimes you have to adjust your headlights just perfectly, or upgrade your headlights. And it looks like he's got to make a U-turn up ahead. But watch out for those road surface hazards. You can't see it. He starts to apply the brakes right now. So now braking's great because it's going to buy you some time to make a different decision because you're still aiming right towards it. So it's going to buy you some time. It's like, oh crap, I'm not going to stop in time, or braking is not the right option. Now I got to swerve around these road surface hazards. That sucks that there's all that stuff there. Hopefully your bike's doing fine. The rims are good. Good job moving different lane, new position.
Hold up.
I should have paid attention in physics class.
What the hell?
Somebody is not having a good day if their tire's just rolling off the road. Oh, watch out for that pole.
Oh, watch out, watch out, watch out.
Is he running?
Yo, watch out.
Or is he on a bike? This field of view is like... No, he's on a bicycle. This field of view is not... It's making me dizzy.
Hit that.
Maybe it's the caffeine and nicotine and no food today. That's making me dizzy.
Oh, God, bro.
Nice job. Every time he kicks it, it's just getting more speed. I love that.
What the hell?
What's that theme from? All right, anyways, side of the wheel. Guys, make sure you check out the store. 30% off until January 6th. I think that's Monday at midnight-ish, Mountain Standard Time. Grab yourself a Smart Rider drill. Also, we do have the cones now, so go ahead and grab it. Rugrats, there it is. And then ride safe, guys. Ride safe. I'll see you guys on the next one.